flag. Didn't come this far just to turn back. The curtains fall for the last act. Breaking that levee, breaking that levee. We don't back down, this is what we're made of. Standing our ground, here it goes down. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Oh, wait and see, we're gonna be legendary. Ain't no time like the here and now. Yeah, we showed up, now we're showing up. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Legendary. We're gonna be legendary. We don't back down, this is what we're made of. Standing our ground, here it goes down. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Oh, wait and see, we're gonna be legendary. Ain't no time like the here and now. Yeah, we showed up, now we showing up. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Legendary. We're gonna be legendary. Legendary. We're gonna be legendary.
It's explosive. You can't control this, no. I got metal running through my bones, a resurrection like a ghost. Hurricane, go ahead and blow. Where you could keep your white flag, I'll never fold. A shadow on a battlefield, a survivor, never yield. A thunder, go ahead and shake. Don't run from the storm when I feel the rain. There's no rest for the wicked, no victory for the weak. And when the weeds getting thicker, you'll never see me on my knees. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. I got a fever in my blood, a falling embers from above. I feel the heat when the pressure blows, a wildfire that you can't control. There's no rest for the wicked, no victory for the weak. And when the weeds getting thicker, you'll never see me on my knees. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. With every beat of my heart, I'll be the lightning attack. You can't control this, I'm explosive. You can't control this, it's 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 explosive.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, coming to you from the virtual Nashville Super Speedway. iRacing on LSRTV, and CRN is back after, of course, a week hiatus of having some technical problems. We weren't able to cover the race at Iowa. Ryan Gormley, by the way, the prodigy from the Xfinity Series of last year, picked up his first Northwest Truck win of the season. We welcome you to coverage of the Honky Tonk 140 from the virtual Nashville Super Speedway. Coverage of iRacing on LSRTV and simulcast on CRN, the Community Radio Network. I'm Wesley Outland, back here with you again. Jason Rockefeller is alongside. Charles Wooten's got all of his gadgets and bells and whistles and modems and electronics back up again for the iRacing world. And Jason, we're ready to roll, man. I was just looking at my stats and notes to prep and prepare for tonight. Do you know we're down to like 7 races left until the playoffs? How fast this season tonight?
Yeah, it feels like we just started at Daytona last week, Wesley. I mean, and you talk about it. We only have a handful of races to go. Obviously, within those few races come a couple of off weeks, one on July 29th, and obviously for 4th of July weekend on July 1st. But I'm looking forward to Nashville tonight. This is a very tricky track. Ryan Gormley got the job done, after being so consistent, so strong so far this season. I know he probably wants to be a little bit better in the points, considering where he's at right now in third, because he knows he's been so consistent, but he's still right in that fight, man. He's only 21 points back. And that's the thing. If you come out of a race like he did 1 week ago at Iowa with that win, and you come with your head high up on your shoulders, especially at a track like Nashville that is definitely hard to conquer considering its shape, its size, the way it races, and everything else, that good momentum carried into tonight can really pay off for him. He could really jump up in the points.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. Obviously, as we get prepared to go here for the Honky Tonk 140 tonight at the Nashville Super Speedway. There's about 15 minutes left to go. Drivers meeting is ongoing, and then we'll have qualifying. Let's take a look at the race analysis for tonight's event presented by the fine folks at Race On. As again, we welcome you to coverage here from the Nashville Super Speedway for the Honky Tonk 140. No fast repair. That's something that's been new this year for season 11 of the Northwest Racing Truck Series, and a lot of people have liked it. 100% fuel capacity on the tanks. 4 tires sets, of course. 3 sets in the pits, plus the original that are on for green. 3 attempts at overtime for green, white checker if needed. This race, again, as 140 laps. This track just shy of 1.5 miles here at the Nashville Super Speedway, Jason.
Yeah, and like I said, this is a very tricky track, obviously, compared to like most, 1.5 mile cookie cutter racetracks we do. I know it's just shy of 1.5 miles, but you can almost consider it to be 1.5 miles, obviously sitting at about 1.33 miles long. Not far off at all from 1.5 miles. This track, it's flat, compared to most style mile-and-a-half D-shaped ovals that we go to, like Vegas, Kansas, you could even say Charlotte, Texas. This track is very unique. Obviously, it's concrete. It's not asphalt, which makes this surface a lot more trickier for these drivers. It can be very hot, very slick in certain conditions, obviously, like we could very well see here tonight as the sun progresses to go down. And it's flat, like I had mentioned. You got to make sure that you're trying to pin the truck down on the bottom of the racetrack. You can make the outside work, but obviously these trucks, with how aerodynamically dependent they are, it's going to be very hard to pass, so you got to make sure to take them where you can get them.
Yeah, let's take a look at what the track dimensions are, obviously, for the facility. But first, let's take a look, obviously, at the weather conditions, as you just kind of hinted on a moment ago. It's presented by Kaufman Creative. 79 degrees, and the air temp for the sim time is just around close to, I think it's, 4 p.m. Eastern time almost. Wind speed at 10 miles an hour. Track temp is close to 100 degrees, 99 degrees right now under mostly cloudy conditions. Nashville Super Speedway layout, as we just mentioned, just shy of a mile and a half. It's actually 1.33 miles, 2.14 kilometer, D-shaped oval, concrete surface. That's another thing that we'll hit on. You're not on pavement like last week at Iowa or previous tracks of the year. You're tonight on concrete. Turns 1 through 4, banked exactly at 14 degrees of banking. The straightaway on the front is 9 degrees in the D-shaped part of the trioval. The back stretch is banked at 6 degrees. Obviously, you're going to see these drivers take every opportunity of every inch of the concrete around this place tonight.
Yeah, and it's very tricky. Like I had mentioned, Wesley, you got to make sure that you're pinning that truck down on the bottom of the racetrack. And again, you can make passes on the outside, but you're going to have to take them when you can get them. It's very hard to pass here. The back straightaway, you have a great opportunity to get a good runoff too. Draft up to the truck in front of you, and then by the time you hit turn 3, pick your poison. You got the bottom, you got the middle, and kind of the top lane. You're not going to see most guys going all the way to the safer barrier because the banking just doesn't do it, and the track doesn't rubber in quite as much up there, and it's not the preferred groove. With how flat this place is, you really have to get a grip of this truck and really pin it down on the bottom. And then it really narrows up here as you see James Viney, the Catman, the 333 machine. It gets really tight coming off turn number 4. It's very wide through 1 and 2 to 3 and 4. But then by the time you get out of 4 down that front straightaway, it narrows up by about a lane, maybe even a lane and a half to 2 lanes even. And you got to be really careful because we've seen now, ever since NASCAR started coming back here in 2021 with trucks, Xfinity, Cup, we've seen a lot of trouble coming off turn 4 there. You can't really use that apron. There's not a lot of room to go down there, and because of how tight that radius is, going through the tri-oval, you're not going to see guys going down there tonight. You're going to have to stay above the apron. It's going to be very hard to set up a pass going into 1 because, again, most guys, bottom. That's what it's going to be tonight.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on all of that as you just mentioned, watching all of this excitement, this action that'll be going on. By the way, don't forget to hit that like, follow, share LSRTV on Facebook, X, and Instagram. And, of course, Northwest Racing Series on Facebook, as well as the Catman Toyota James Vining 333 gets qualifying started. I hope you like the new graphics, man. I love the red, white, and blue. I feel very patriotic here after the Memorial Day break and now getting ready to move into the nation's birthday coming up in a few weeks on the 4th of July.
Oh, yeah, always one of my favorite times of year, especially up here in central Jersey. Great time to be alive here in the Garden State for sure. But, I love these graphics. And, Charles, I know you mentioned this to us, like, hey, we were going to do a graphic overhaul. And I think it looks really clean. It looks really good. I like the red, white, and blue. Reminds me of the Race On logo, obviously. It looks really neat here. Just like all these guys are going to be driving here tonight. It's going to look really cool. Again, this is the style of racing you're going to see. It's going to be a little bit of a drafting factor mixed with, like I mentioned, bottom. Qualifying is very important here tonight as well. And you see Brett Johnson in the number 7 machine, who had a really good run here, actually, 1 year ago. Finished in the top 3. And Brett only has 1 top 10, I believe, so far this season, actually. So he's trying to get another top 10, even his first top 5 of the year. And with how good he ran here 1 year ago, he very well could be a driver to watch out for tonight. But again, qualifying so important because it's going to be so hard to pass here.
Brett Johnson just finishing up with his qualifying lap, and here comes Dan West Jr., driver of the car number 55, of course, from Shelton, Washington. Let's see what he can do in that 55 machine.
He got really
Dan
high
West
right
Jr.
there
currently
coming out of
7th. Yeah, I was going to say,
he got really
he's
high.
7th. Yeah. Watch that transition here. I think that hurt his lap, Jason.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, he's still second up on the board, but I feel like if he didn't get so high coming out of turn 4, because I saw the tail end of the truck kind of just, it started to walk up the racetrack, then it looked like he got loose right on exit. But again, you know, with this track, you know, being at 14 degrees of banking here, you know, Wesley, and we talk about the 1.5 miles, so this is not your typical near style 1.5 miles racetrack that we go to. This is flatter, it's concrete, it's shorter, and with these flatter corners, you have more of an opportunity to kind of slide up. I know this is really kind of an awkward comparison because they race completely different, but in my eyes they don't. I almost compare this track to Kentucky Speedway. Sure, it's not as wide, it's not as big, but 3 and 4 in particular, if you ever race on the sim in 3 and 4 at Kentucky, that thing is just so dang wide. But then by the time you get out of the corner, you feel like you're just sliding up, you're sliding up, you're sliding up. I feel like that's what you're going to see a lot of here tonight.
And we're watching them all work around the racetrack. Bryce Clark in that no sponsored looking machine with the numbers on the back of the quarter panel, if you will, of the truck for the 98 of Bryce Clark coming to the line now. Qualifying rolling on as they're seeing right now Clifford Toby Ritter's top of the board, 31-38, Texas winner, obviously, for Ace High Racing. Dan West Jr. qualified second. Tyler King, Ryan Gormley winner last week in Iowa, and Dennis Moore currently your top 5. And here comes Christopher White, former Northwest Cup Series champion, now qualifying in the 56 Toyota.
And Toby Ritter's, with him setting up at the top of the board right now, Wesley, this is awesome for him because, again, he got that one win at Texas. And I feel like if it wasn't for that one win, you know, you really wouldn't see Toby Ritter's as high as he is in the points because, Wesley, he's only second in the points, and he's only 3 points back from Sean Brightsman. That win at Texas set him so high up on the bar for the points. And now with the run that he has coming into tonight with the pole, you know, if he could just hold out here for another 6 minutes, I mean, that's going to be a great achievement for Toby. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, that's going to be his first pole in quite some time. And, you know, with Sean Brightsman not even being on track yet, with 6 minutes to go, and if Sean Brightsman doesn't get the lap he wants, I mean, this could be a really big race and a big turning point for this championship for not only Sean Brightsman, but also Toby Ritter's.
So Chris White will finish up with his qualifying run again right now currently. Toby Ritter's, Dan West Jr., Christopher White up to third, Tyler King, Ryan Gormley. Top 5, that's the way it stands. There's about a handful of minutes left to go if anybody wants to try to qualify. Right now, so far, there has been only 24 takers of the close to 30 drivers. I believe Troy Daggett was going to qualify. He entered on to the pit lane. We're still waiting to see if Chase Carrillo or Kevin Smith, Tyler Kim, Todd Miles, Ron Hunter, or Sean Brightsman take time. And now we do see Troy Daggett pop out before the clock expires for the Barb K Chevrolet to take a time in the 99.
Yeah, and he just has to go out here, set a good lap, get that arc from 3 and 4 right here like he's doing. And then once you get out of 4, head down to that apron, cut it just a little bit, get back up there, and then just pin the bottom. But you don't want to do that. So he's going to have to throw away this first lap right here. If I were Troy Daggett, I would just run the bottom here in 3 and 4, go back to the top, or 1 and 2 rather, than go back to the top in 3 and 4 here if he's able to get this second lap. I mean, that's just what you got to do here with these 1.5 miles. There's such a key point at these type of racetracks where if you want to get good runs in qualifying, you basically got to run the top in 3 and 4 coming out of most of them.
But, oh no, he's up and into the wall right there. So this is automatically, I would only imagine, probably going to set Troy Daggett back. And this second lap definitely is not going to be faster than his first. And obviously he's going to park it.
Yeah, that did not go well for the driver there of Daggett. Time running out, 4 minutes left to go on the clock. If anybody wants to try to take time, if they do not, then they're probably going to let the clock expire. But obviously, that's it. It's all over. Clock is over and dead. As you can see, we now have the field set for the Honky Tonk 140. Only fitting to have that yeehaw music in the background. Let's go racing at Nashville on the concrete. Toby Ritters, Texas winner. Dan West Jr. making up row 1. We'll find Christopher White and Tyler King in 21. Row 3, we'll see Ryan Gormley and Dennis Moore. Row 4, it's going to be Stephen O'Hare and the Catman James Fonning. Good qualifying run. Your top 10, Jason, we'll find on row 5 Stephen Paulison and Ryan Bloom.
Top 20, row number 6, you got LSRTV's own Jeff Stabnow in the 24 machine. Had a great run here 1 year ago in the top 5. Frank Harris, the legend in the 77, who's been having an awesome season for Frank so far. He'll be on outside in row number 6. Row 7, you'll find Brian Barnes and Roy Grande, who's always a sleeper, can be his way up at the front of the field by the time this race is over. Row number 8, you'll find Paul Newton in the number 27 machine alongside Robert Gamble in the 54. Row 9, you will find Chris Kynes in the 88 machine alongside Carl Burke in his usual 53. And rounding out the top 20 in row number 10, you'll find Team LSR TV's Brett Johnson trying to get another top 3 here, maybe even a win tonight at Nashville, and Brett Grenewald in the 51.
Moving on to row 11, Dana Rogers in that 07 machine to his outside, Devin West in the number 5, defending champion. Row 12, Bryce Clark in 98, followed by John Ottenbacher, one of the Team LSR TV drivers, looking for a win this year, as well as Brett Johnson. Kevin Smith in the 00, he won a couple of weeks ago, and Sean Breitzman alongside in 46. Row 14 will find Troy Daggett and Ron Hunter. Top 30 entries will find, of course, the driver of Todd Miles and Tyler Kim, and I believe that is the lineup with Chase Carrillo tagging the back. The field is getting in position. We're ready to go racing after a quick break from Nashville. We're racing next. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, my apologies. I thought they were holding. I thought they were a little delayed on the start. My apologies on that. I thought we were ahead on the starter's grid, but here comes the field now, pacing to look for the green flag. A little delay on my part. My apologies. Ritters, Clifford. How about it for Ace High Racing, Jason? This guy put this team together, and so far, it's just been doing phenomenal for the number 3.
I tell you what, man, if Toby Ritters can just keep up the consistency that he's had all season long, watch out for this number 3 machine. 2 years ago, he was a back marker. Well, now guess what? He's up front winning races. Watch out for Clifford, because that big red dog, he's got something to say this season.
And again, pace car has dropped onto the pit lane. We're running on the concrete of the Honky Tonk 140 as they get ready to come to the line. Green flag is in the air. We are underway at Nashville. Toby Ritters quickly getting the whole shot. It looked like Dan West Jr. was going to try to battle back. He just couldn't get there. By the way, I'm understanding, Jason, that there was a new damage model and update done to these trucks. It made the most previous iRacing broadcast I did a few moments ago very interesting. We'll see what it does on the concrete at Nashville off 4.
Yeah, the damage model, obviously, they had their recent season update recently, and they also added the new street stock cars. And some other things as well, but one of the main things they did was they updated the damage model for a majority of the cars on iRacing. One of those being heavy hitters was the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series chassis, and it's very difficult now. You get up into the wall, it can really hurt your truck. The damage is more significant, so you really got to take care of your truck here tonight. It's definitely going to be a struggle for these guys with how tight this track can be on this 1.33 mile super speedway. They call it Nashville Super Speedway. That's basically what it is. So Already, though, Toby Ritter's out to a 7/10 of a second lead. Great start for the 3 machine.
And the reason why they call this place the Super Speedway here at Nashville, Jason, for the many decades that they have, is because it drives like a super speedway. You can see 2 and 3 and 4 wide racing here. You can drive at full speed around this place. Sometimes you can foot it on here or on the gas without having to ride the brake any. This is a place where you can really drive wide, all open, and you can really see the man that could win this race do that. If he can, he'll be the guy that we talk to at the end of the night.
Yeah, and obviously IndyCar announced that, with their scheduling, issues,
Yes.
they said that they were going to be coming back here for the NTT IndyCar Series Championship for their season finale for not only this year, but also next year. So glad that IndyCar is coming back to Nashville. This is a great track for the Indy Next program, and it sure is going to be a great one for the IndyCar guys. They just had a tire test here over the last week, so should be fun. But obviously we got this race here to go. Everybody's starting to get single filed out. That's what we kind of anticipated to see here early on. But as these tires wear out, the thing is here, you got to take care of that right front like most tracks. But I cannot stress enough that how much you got to take care of this right front compared to these other style 1.5-mile racetracks with this flatter banking in 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Remember, Wesley, you said 14 degrees. Most 1.5-mile style racetracks we go to, they have upwards of about 18 to sometimes even 20, 26, 24 degrees. That's a lot of banking. I know that 4 degrees doesn't sound like a lot, but trust me, folks, when you are in the sim racing cockpit, you could definitely feel the difference, how much differently you could drive these trucks, cars, whatever you're running, the speed that you can carry, the brake input, whatever it may be, it makes a big difference. So these guys are going to be saving that right front a lot tonight.
And right now in the early going, it is, of course, Toby Ritter's up in front, Dan West Jr. second, Tyler King Gormley in the top 5 along with White. And quickly, the smart thing to do is get up in line and get single file. That's what they're doing. Remember, this series does not do stage racing. They go 140 straight green flag laps if necessary as they work their way off the corner. Very disappointing that you're not able to broadcast last week's race at Iowa. Of course, Ryan Gormley, who's in the 4th position right now, he's the man that won that event. But I always enjoy Iowa, but we'll pick up where we left off. And by the way, this is the next couple of weeks before we take off for 4th of July. And again, as I said, when we come back from 4th of July, Jason, it is on. It is the home stretch to get yourself into those final positions needed or wins to lock yourself into the playoffs.
Yeah, and it's going to be insane because guess what? We have tonight here at Nashville, and before the 4th of July, we go to Kern Raceway, Kern County Raceway.
Yes,
obviously
sir.
Kevin Harvick's racetrack. That's going to be so much fun. A track that was just recently added to iRacing over the past few months. So it's going to be really fun to see these truck drivers take on that short track. It's going to be so awesome. Then after 4th of July, you got Pocono, Darlington, New Hampshire. Then we have another off week towards the end of July that we pick back up with, obviously, the last 3 races before the playoffs start, because we have Indianapolis, Chicagoland, Talladega. You got to get yourself in check before these guys obviously head into the round of 16 starting on August 22nd.
Dennis Moore making a run on the inside of Chris White up the hill, door to door. Gormley up on the top of that Pennzoil STP shell colors, or the Pennzoil shell colors, I meant. Trying to reel in under the tailgate of Dan West Jr. on 3rd. White and, of course, also Moore battling to get to the top 5. Behind them, Paulison, Stabnow, O'Hare, Bloom, all patiently in a conga line to the back straightaway. Ryan Bloom may be poking out a line to go after O'Hare for that spot going to turn 3.
Yeah, I've been watching this battle over the past few laps. Ryan Bloom has been getting really good runs off 4. He's not going to get the best one right here. He actually gets a little loose, and he opens up the door here for Frank Harris, who's going to go all the way to the bottom, utilizing that apron. But like I said, you've got to be careful. Look at Frank. Nearly lost it down there coming out of the tri-oval.
Harris from the top to the bottom, look and see what he can do. Trying to make a run on Bloom. Trying to get to the top 10. Behind him, also Paul Newton, Brian Barnes, Vining, all in this mix as they work to the corner. 12 of 140 laps here since the start of the Honky Tonk 140 at Nashville. They're back in 2.
And now you see Stephen O'Hare working down to the inside there of Jeff Stabnow in the 24 machine. And this is where it's going to get a little tight here coming off turn 4. We talk about how it narrows up right here. We've already seen some sketchy moments going through this tri-oval. Will the 41 utilize the bottom completely? He'll stay above the line that time. So Jeff gives him just enough room to obviously keep himself down there. But like we mentioned, so difficult to pass, and you're seeing it right now.
Working into turn number 3. Paulison, O'Hare, Bloom. Harris looking on, working off turn 3 and 4. This track is wide enough on this concrete jungle that is the Nashville Super Speedway that you can be able to go 3 and 4 wide if you're brave enough. Right now, everybody being calm, cool, collective, triple C's in the early going to this race on lap 15. This time, Bob, they come to the line.
Yeah, this is a great little battle, though, we got going on here. Obviously, with Stabnow, Paulson, O'Hare, Bloom, and then throw Frank Harris into the mix. 5 trucks under a blanket. Jeff Stabnow finally able to get past Paulson, and now O'Hare works down to the inside of him going through the tri-oval. Everybody just kind of nose to tail right now. And again, figuring out when they're going to be able to pass, set a driver up. When you have the opportunity, you got to try to take it. As you see the 41 here, at least squeeze the 58 there. Off turn number 2, got a little tight, but he's able to clear him off too.
And they work again off of turn to the Ritters, King, Gormley. Top 3. Doing exactly what they need to do. There's King. He's in second. Nicole Bryan Photography. Ford making a run on Ritters. Man, what a run for Toby Ritters, Jason, here in the early going. I know he's got a battle for the lead here, but that Chevrolet 3 doing a phenomenal job up in front in the early going here.
Yeah, doing a fantastic job. And also, by the way, Bailey Ritters in the chat said that it is Toby's birthday. So happy birthday,
Hey!
Mr. Toby Ritters there. Happy birthday to the driver of the 3 machine. Came out here, got the pole. I'm sure he had a good day with the family. Now he's got to go do some truck racing. But obviously, if he wants that big birthday win to blow out the candles at the end of the night, he's going to have to hold off this 21 right here. He's going to get right to his bumper through 3 and 4. Thought he was going to give him a shot, but Tyler King is right there, and he is looking for the lead.
That would be a nice present of Toby Ritters, who won a crazy race earlier in the year when he won the event. By the way, second in the point standings, but he did win at Texas back in April. Let's go over the winners so far this year, including Jeff Stabnow winning Daytona, Sean Brightsman won in Atlanta, Dan West Jr. at Vegas, Devin West won at Richmond, Toby Ritters won at Texas, Sean Brightsman won Kansas, Devin West got his second win of the year, obviously, at Watkins Glen. Ryan Bloom won at Worldwide Technology Raceway a few weeks ago before the break, before Memorial Day. Kevin Smith won Flag to Flag in the Michigan event last week. Ryan Gormley was the winner at Iowa. Round 11 tonight here at the Nashville Super Speedway, and we've already got 120 laps to go. Green flag as they come to the line out of turn 4.
Yeah, Tyler King was able to take the lead away right there from Toby Ritters just a couple laps ago. But, man, I don't know if we're going to stay green for too much longer because these guys have been duking it out here from about 10th on back, from Frank Harris all the way back to, I'd say, probably Robert Gamble and Kevin Smith. Everybody's just slicing and dicing their way up through this field, getting a little loose off 2, getting a little loose off 4, and almost finding themselves in a pickle by the time they get to turn 1. Here goes Paul Newton looking to the inside of Paulson now off 4.
Back straight away now, working off the corner, coming to the line into 1 and 2. as King is the man that's up in front. Ritter second. There you see now Newton trying to make a battle along Paulison. They're side by side. A little contact along there, rubbing sheet metal. As Barnes watches on in the popsicle entry. All this going on now in the top 15 as it's getting spicy off the corner. Devin West dirt tracks it off of turn 4. What a save for the 5 out of Shelton, Washington.
What a save for Brett Johnson, too. That's about the second time I've caught my eye looking at that LSRTV truck, and he nearly lost it again coming off turn number 4. It just goes to show you that these lap times in the tire wear have definitely fallen off because Toby Ritters has the fastest lap of the race right now with a 30.344. We are already up into the mid-31s, so that's nearly a second and a half worth of fall off in just the first 23 laps. And Toby actually just ran nearly an entire 9/10 slower last time around. Oh, we got trouble here going through the tri-oval. Chris Kynes, that's John Ottbacher.
And they stay on the turf in the middle of the infield grass here at the Nashville Super Speedway. Tri-oval D-shape, part of turn 4 down the front stretch, and they will not withdraw a caution. Yellow flag will not fly. We still stay green on lap number 24.
And again, for anybody who's just tuning into your first iRacing event, remember, iRacing does not deem it a caution if it happens below the racing surface or even far enough in the back of the pack to where you are the last car on the tail end of the line. So they do not throw yellows for that, only when a truck is mere slow or completely sideways above the racing surface. So that is why we did not have that caution right there. But I'm sure that's not the last trouble we're going to see here tonight.
Yeah, a little skirmish just a moment ago, and somehow they saved it again as they work their way off the corner. Christian Tinkler asking a question, where can I get the Discord info? I'd like to get in there before y'all open registration. I guess you would go to LSRTV on Discord, and I guess one of the admins would add you. There we go. Preston 92, okay. If it's a little choppy on your end for the stream, just close it and maybe reopen it again. Maybe change your bandwidth speed. Maybe your internet is not strong enough for that 4K Ultra HD quality that LSRTV provides. White and Ritters now battling for the lead here, going on for second, actually, because Tyler King gets around all these guys. He's the man up in front. King, Gormley, there's the battle for third. In truck 3, the birthday boy, Toby Ritters, under attack as they go into turn 1. Jackson on lap 27.
Yeah, Toby Ritters is really struggling right now. I think, Wesley, that when he got shot out of a cannon, he just really used up that right front. And it is definitely showing on the racetrack right now. He is one of the only drivers within this top 10 to be heading into the 32-second range now. And you could just see it right there through the center of 3 and 4. They might even put him 3 wide here off 4. And Chris White got a little sideways there off the corner, was able to save it. Now Dan West Jr., even though he looks like he's having a little bit of a connection issue, hopefully that stabilizes for him. But we'll have to find out and see. He's tucked up now right behind the back of this 3 truck. Obviously got to be careful, though, and watch out for those internet issues.
The leader, Tyler King, is already working off of turn number 4. Gormley has opened up a lead away from 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Dan West Jr., a little inkin' blinkin' nod again off the corner. And as I mentioned, the top 2 pull away. Also, Jason, the leader, Tyler King, is closing in on 27th, 28th, and 29th. Chris Kynes, Chase Carrillo, and John Ottenbacher to put them a lap down on lap number 30 this time of bye.
Yeah, and obviously 2 of those drivers were involved in that little skirmish down through the tri-oval into the infield grass, but we did stay green. You see these connection issues still kind of hindering Dan West Jr., and you can imagine that Chris White and Stephen O'Hare are taking note of this. They are trying to be cautious around this 55 machine because they don't want to be trying to pass, and the next thing you know, he appears, and next thing you know, you're ending up into the wall. They're able to get by him, though, pretty quickly. Hopefully this stabilizes for Dan West Jr. You don't really see
any issues out of this 55 machine connection-wise compared to Mr. Kevin Smith like we usually see from time to time. So hopefully that stabilized for him. But great little battle. Toby Ritters, though, still able to hold this field off, but not for long, because here comes Chris White and Stephen O'Hare into one.
Dan West Jr. still trying to somehow survive the signal network issue he is overtaking. And it looks like it might have finally cleared away. He did lose a couple of spots, though, in that exchange and put the Chevrolet 55 to the number 6 position outside the top 5 for Dan West Jr. All the while now, Harris, that's the 77, Frank Harris, the legend, getting some company from Brian Barnes, former Northwest Cup Series champion, Paul Newton, the road course king, in that 27 Paul Newton Designs entry, as they're going to go door to door back up the racetrack into turn number 1 and 2.
Yeah, you see Barnes in his popsicle machine trying to run down Ryan Bloom. Both those drivers have had a net gain so far from when they started. Brian's up 3 spots. Ryan Bloom's up 1 spot. So far, the biggest mover in the race tonight happens to be Devin West, who we only talked about really during gridding. And he's already up to 13th, just shy of the top 10, up 9 positions. And Devin is a very fast driver. I can only imagine that he'll probably somehow, in some shape or form, find his way up here to the front of this field before this race is over. He was last year's runner-up here. He started 4th 1 year ago. Didn't lead any laps, but he was right there about 8 seconds back at the finish 1 year ago. So watch out for Devin West, because he might try to have a little bit of Nashville redemption tonight.
What a show we're seeing as Ritters trying to hold off the likes of White again for 3rd and 4th. Oh, it's pinched him off up against the safer barrier.
Oh!
Stephen O'Hare likes that, as, boy, another shot, shove, and a giggle there. And, boy, getting a little aggressive for that spot as we're closing in on 100 laps to go. And West is trying to get into that battle, but he is still blinking off and on once in a while as they go to 1.
Yeah, Toby almost really pinched the 56 into the wall 1 lap ago. And, oh, here's a car down pit road. This is Kevin Smith. I see some right side damage to that 00 machine, so my guess is he hit the wall, had significant contact, and he's already coming down to the pits here. Not the start of green flag pit stops for sure. You would usually expect these things to probably go about 45 to 50 laps on fuel here. So definitely an unscheduled pit stop for the 00.
So the number 00, Kevin Smith, by the way, who has a win for Win Racing. He won a couple of weeks ago, I believe it was at Michigan, flag to flag at the end of that 200-miler back at the beginning of June. He is now on pit road. We're watching all these other drivers now climbing to the top 10. Win Racing's Dennis Moore, Team LSRTV Daytona winner Jeff Stabnow working on 4. Barnes looks on, so does Newton. All this happens as they flash under the stripe. Jeff Stabnow with that 24 starting to show some strengths as we're closing in on a century grind remaining here in the Honky Tonk 140.
Yeah, the 24, Jeff Stabnow right there. Last time around, he got really hot in turn 3. Got really tight, then got squirrely off 4. Opened up the door for Brian Barnes to make a look, and there he goes again. The 24 wicked loose through the center of 3 and 4. He's able to hang on to it, but Brian Barnes going to get a good enough run to still stay with him here off turn 4, and Paul Newton's just trying to find a way around him, but can't right now as they're back into 1, and Brian Barnes is going to slide up the track a little.
Barnes inside. Stabnow stays up on the top behind the tailgate of Newton Moore. Into the corner. And if I've noticed also, Jason, it's got very cloudy here all of a sudden. There's a little poke of sun working off the corner as Stabnow got loose coming off of the transition of turn 4 down the straightaway. Or the tri-oval, if you will. But it's really got cloudy here over the racetrack as we're approaching 40 in, 100 to go.
Yeah, and obviously, Wesley, with that, it just makes me think, too, with this cloud cover, it's going to cool down the racetrack probably a little bit. But let's take a look real quick at the Coffin Creative weather conditions, see if anything's changed here within the first 40 laps. Because remember, we started with 99 degrees track temp. It has been the same. So this track is still pretty hot right now. I mean, if it continues to be cloudy, the track could cool down. But with these guys going around so fast, laying down rubber, the track could only probably get hotter, I could imagine. But you're just starting to see these tires wear away. 30.344 for Toby Ritter's fastest lap. Last time around for him, 32.243. So nearly 2 seconds worth of fall off here within these first 40 laps now.
Under 100 laps to go now, as of course King is the leader here. King, Gormley, O'Hare, Ritters, White, your top 5. We'll pause very quickly for 10 seconds of station identification for the Northwest Truck Series on CRN, the Community Radio Network from Nashville.
Community Radio Network, WCRN 87.9 FM, Clayton, Garner, Raleigh, North Carolina, USA. We are CRN.
John Ottenbacher off the pace to the bottom of the apron. That's the second time tonight that he's took a visit in the turf in the infield at Nashville, Jason. However, it still does not draw a caution on lap 43.
Yeah, again, just below the racing surface. They're not going to throw a yellow. And right when we were going to station identification, you just saw him just dart right across the infield. Did a whale of a job saving that thing. Had to ride pit lane. I'm assuming he'll probably get an unsafe pit entry penalty for that, more than likely, if he was down there on the pit lane when he did save it. And I know obviously it's not his fault, but obviously iRacing does issue that as an unsafe pit entry, and they will probably penalize him more than likely. We'll have to see. But 44 laps right now, Wesley. We're probably closing in on green flag pit stops, I'd say, here within the next probably 10 to 15 laps. So it's just going to be a question of who can try to leapfrog this field. If there's one driver that I would say who should try to do it, it would be Toby Ritters. He was so fast on new tires, and he just burned them up too quickly. If he could get in there, take advantage of those newer tires sooner than these other guys, I think, and then just save a little bit once he gets out there, I think he could be sitting pretty here for the second half of this race.
King, Gormley, O'Hare, Ritters, White, top 5. White, West, Barnes, Newton, Moore, and West, top 10. Devin West, by the way, the 10th place driver. As we watch all these guys working their way back around the racetrack. Welcome back to coverage, by the way, of round 11 of the Northwest Truck Series here in season 11 of the coverage from the Nashville Super Speedway in the Honky Tonk 140. I'm Wesley Outland, Jason Rockefeller, alongside, of course, Mr. Charles Wooten is on the production side of things here tonight. And all the while, it is still Tyler King who got the lead away from Ritters and company to put that number 21 up in front. Former champion, by the way, back in 2022 of the Northwest Truck Series when it used to run on Wednesday night. And that driver of the 21, Jason, looking good. And Gormley and O'Hare losing ground on him. They're still 2 and 4 seconds back. And we're closing in on lap 50. And green flag pit stops. Dennis Moore's on pit road.
Yeah, Dennis Moore going to be able to take advantage of these 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles, and the field is definitely going to notice that. He was up inside the top 10 when he pitted, so this is basically going to open up the door for these guys. I can only imagine there's going to be guys probably coming down this time, but Dennis Moore is going to be sitting in a pretty good spot. He'll be able to pick up a few positions here with pitting early.
The Click-It RV bomb speed, entry number 44 for Win Racing. Dennis Moore on the pit lane. Green flag pit stops are paramount because you have to hit your marks and be precise and not make any mistake on entry or exit at any time. Green flag pit stops can also put you a lap down faster than everyone else. Dennis Moore, no doubt, Jason, has to be going for the undercut on the rest of the leaders to try to make up track position 44.
Yeah, more than likely. I mean, big save for Dan West.
You were saying about Moore.
Yeah, I mean, with Dennis Moore here, obviously pitting early, sure, he's going to be the first one to pit and obviously fall back, but he'll be able to make up that time. And with these guys, the later that they wait to pit, like you see the 62 now, Tom Miles in this time by, but he's been mired in the back all race. But for everybody else, it's mainly up at the front. The longer they wait, obviously, the more ground Dennis Moore is going to be able to put on them and maybe even take this lead away possibly. But obviously, they'll have those fresher tires by the time they come out, and they can try to run them down. But the tires are eventually going to equalize, so this could get interesting. Jeff Stabnow as well down on pit road.
Here comes that green flag pit stops as we forementioned. Lap number 50. Drivers are on the pit lane. And service is ongoing. Stabnow perfectly in his pit box. It'll be 4 tires and filling up those tanks with virtual Sunoco fuel. Nice stop for 24 Stabnow. Everyone else also. White's coming in. 56 on pit road. Burke on pit road. Stabnow on exit. Green flag pit stops continue just after lap 50. Tyler King still the leader. Here comes White again, going to his pit stall in 56.
Yeah, and Chris White's been pretty fast as well all night long. He's been up in this top 10. He's just got to keep on being there. It's been kind of a tough season for Chris White so far. I mean, he's back in 16th in the points. He's made all 10 races, but he's only got 2 top 10s to show for it. He was fast in the beginning of the year. He could really use a good run here tonight. And here comes Dan West Jr. on pit road. I believe the connection issues look to have stabilized for this 55 machine. And now he can obviously go after the rest of the field here and potentially for this lead. 55 now coming into his box, going to take 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles as we continue to see more and more drivers like Brian Barnes and Devin West coming to pit road this time.
So these green flag pit stops rolling on. Here comes now Barnes as Daggett exits in 99. Chris Kynes on the pit lane as well. Vining pitted. There you see the 333. There's Devin West. Here comes Dana Rogers in the 07. The Fanta colors. Fanta Coca-Cola orange colors of the Crush. And there goes the 41. Stephen O'Hare had some pretty good racing earlier in the top 5. Now he's on pit road.
Yeah, this 41 has been really fast all night too as well. Good run here for Stephen O'Hare. Haven't really seen a lot of him so far, obviously, this season. He's been kind of mired back again. Another driver hasn't made every race this year. Only 7 starts, 8th one here tonight. 2 top 10s and 1 top 5 to show for it. Not really going to be in contention. He'd have to go out here, maybe get a win or 2 before the playoffs start to obviously be in the round of 16. So it'd be a really long climb for him. But here comes Paul Newton in the 27 machine coming to pit road.
Newton giving up another run in the top 10 as well. Here comes Paulison on exit. So is also Harris coming in. Gamble is on pit road. Green flag pit stops going on, cycling through lap number 48 all the way down to lap 55 with, of course, halfway coming up on lap number 70 of 140 laps the distance here tonight in the Honky Tonk 140 at Nashville. .83 laps to go also, as now Ritters almost missed the pit lane exit. He makes it just in time. Now got to make sure he wasn't speeding on entry there for the number 3 for Race iRacing, Jason.
I think he was all right, but man, he was awfully close to hitting that commitment line faster than he should have been. Even that commitment cone, and he could have gotten an unsafe pit entry there, but good driving by Toby Ritters to hang on to it there. It's very tough to get down onto pit road here at Nashville from that flat banking basically down to the complete flat apron. It can be really tricky, especially with everybody running this bottom, so you got to keep in mind of not only yourself making sure you get the pit road safely, but also others around you as well, because you don't want the trouble.
So Sean Brightsman, who struggled at the start of this race, didn't do well in qualifying trim, is now the new leader, closing in on 80 laps to go, 81 to go to be exact when they come to the line. Brightsman, Johnson, King, Moore. Remember we talked about drivers that went for the undercut. Dennis Moore took advantage of that, being the first man in. Now everybody else of the 30 drivers that took the green flag have cycled through. And Brightsman now the man that leads in 46. I don't think he's pitted yet. Neither has Brett Johnson, his teammate, in 7.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. And I mean, they're more than likely, I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to split this race probably into making it probably just 2 stops. I mean, these guys, for all I know, could probably go on 2 stops. But, you know, the longer that they wait, the more it's just going to hurt them. Sure, they're going to have fresher tires by the time they come out, but I think they're just waiting on a caution, trying to keep this field, or at least more than half of it, you know, trapped a lap down. First one lap down currently. Toby Ritter's back in 14th. It's only 13 trucks right now, Wesley, on the lead lap. A caution would definitely shake things up here.
Let's give you your new top 10 now as we work past Brightsman's now pitting. So Brightsman and Johnson were the last 2 to pit, and now they have officially come down pit road. Bright's Boutique 46 entry on pit road. LSRTV number 7, Johnson on pit road as well. So it's going to shuffle back and give Tyler King the lead when they come to the line, Jason, right now.
Yeah, I mean, Brett Johnson, Sean Brightsman, they had to pit. There was no way they're going to be able to stay out as long as they did, but it's going to hurt them significantly. I mean, and Sean Brightsman, with the climb he's done now, being trapped in the back, this is not the kind of night he needed, Wesley. He needs to finish ahead of Toby Ritters. He needs all the points he can, because, again, Toby's only 3 points back coming into tonight, and then you have Ryan Gormley. He's only back by 21. Brian Barnes, 28. Stabnow, 39. It is still fairly close within this entire top 5 of the points, from Brightsman down to Stabnow. Only 39 points together separate Brightsman to Stabnow. So if you're one of those guys in the top 5, you need to have a good night compared to those others around you. And for Sean Brightsman, it's just not really seeming like it for the time being.
Brightsman with 2 wins coming into tonight's event, obviously. Just pitting a moment ago while leading with Johnson. 3 points back again. Toby Ritters, as Jason just mentioned. The top 10 separated by only 64 points. I would probably say, Jason, this might be one of the closest battles in the top 10 for the championship to make the playoffs I think we've had since my inception of being in the broadcast booth for LSRTV's coverage of the Northwest Series. It's very tight.
Yeah, it's definitely very tight here, especially for the regular season, you know, because obviously we have the playoffs starting at the end of August, and it's going to be very, very interesting to see how it shakes up, who's going to be in, who's going to be out. I know these last few years that we've called the Northwest Truck Series together, Wesley, it has gotten right down to the wire for these playoffs. If you're a driver who comes into tonight with a lot of points banked in right now, and you have those points to lay back on, man, you're just praising everything that you've done so far this year, because you've had great drives. Everybody from Sean Brightsman to Jeff Stabnow, Toby Ritters, Brian Barnes in the Ford machine. I mean, you've got to just rely on those points, just keep being consistent. But if you're a driver right now outside the top 16, like Roy Grande, Stephen Paulison, you've got to do really good here these next few races. Chris White, the last one on the bubble in that 16th spot. He's only got a 2-point gap coming into tonight, and then a 3-point gap over Roy Grande and Stephen Paulison. So for those guys, they have to have great nights, and they have to set the bar high for them here and do well these next few weeks.
A couple of scares at the start of the opening of this race as we are approaching quickly the halfway mark of the event. Audenbacher going through the grass, as well as some other drivers, but they did save it. We've seen a couple of saves by Dan West Jr. and son Devin West as well, dirt tracking it off of turn 4 with maybe some handling problems. But other than that, as halfway quickly approaches in less than 3 laps to go, it has been a only green flag run since the drop of the start. This race has gone flawlessly. to lap number 68. And right now, we are working closely to the halfway mark. We are going to go to break, and we are going to be back with more for the second half of the Honky Tonk 140 LSRTV CRN from Nashville when we return.
We're a racing family that you can trust on and off the track. Here at Hercules Foundation Repair, we are here to help with our free in-home evaluations and personal repair plans. So if you're looking for foundation repair, go online or give us a call to schedule your free inspection.
And as the three best friends that anyone could have in iRacing have enjoyed the commercial break, we're getting ready for the second half of the Honky Tonk 140. You know, I was going to find a way to segue into that, Jason. Welcome
of course
back.
you were. I figured you would.
Here, let's give you the fulfilled rundown as we're halfway home. 72 down, 68 to go here at Nashville. Tyler King is the leader. Ryan Gormley winner last week at Iowa in second. Stefano Harris third, Christopher White fourth, and Devin West top five. Brian Barnes is sixth, Dennis Moore is seventh. Eighth is Paul Newton. Ninth is Toby Ritters, the pole driver. And Jeff Stabnow is currently in 10th as Jason gives you the top 20 of the rundown.
Yeah, you got 11th. You got Ryan Bloom there in the 25 machine. A driver who's been doing solid here so far tonight. Roy Grande Jr. mentioned how he needs to get some points here tonight. Great run for him up to the top 12. Wants to make it a top 10, top 5, even a win would be awesome for the 11. James Vining in the 333 machine. Not the best qualifying effort for him, but 13th. Good running for him. Stephen Paulson, Robert Gamble, Brett Grenewald, Brett Johnson, Troy Daggett, Todd Miles, and Chris Kynes in the 88, who had a slip up earlier on in the race, went down to the infield grass, was able to save it. He rounds out the top 20.
Tyler Kim is the first or the last driver in 21st position on the lead lap. Dana Rogers is the first driver one lap down. If the caution was to come out, he would get the free pass. Dan West Jr. is 23rd. Sean Brightsman, 24th. They're one lap down. 25th, of course, is Frank Harris, 2 laps down, as well as Chase Carrillo, 26th. 3 laps down is John Annenbacher in 27th. 8 laps down, Kevin Smith in 28th. 28 laps down is Carl Burke in 29th. 57 laps down is Bryce Clark in 30th. Ron Hunter did not start the race. Tyler King is the leader. Gormley second, O'Hare third. There's White and West battling off turn 4 on lap 75.
Yeah, it's been a really clean and green race so far. No real issues besides a couple of issues we had going through the tri-oval. But, you know, Wesley, I was going to mention that, too, at the top of the broadcast tonight. There was not a lot of cautions in last year's race. Actually, last year's race was only 150 laps compared to the 140 that we have here tonight. There was only 4 leaders and 6 lead changes. And only, like I mentioned, was going to say, 3 cautions for 12 laps just 1 year ago. So this is the track that's really known to have these long green flag runs. And I mean, with us already halfway through this race, I mean, for all we know, this could become a cluster at the end of this one. It could get interesting. It could play strategy. We've seen it in the past. Nashville can be unpredictable, but it can also be a very long, drawn-out race. Strung out race that just produces racing like this. So don't say that Tyler King has us in the bag yet, because obviously we still got a long ways to go. But obviously the opportunity for something happening to anyone out on this racetrack is still possible.
Yeah, you're exactly right. We're just kind of seeing everybody just, again, as I mentioned when we came on the air at the opening 15 laps, calm, cool, collective. We saw maybe a couple of drivers spin into the turf on the infield grass off to turn 4 front straightaway, but other than that, through the tri-oval, it didn't draw or summon a caution. They were able to quickly get back rolling, not stay damaged, and roll on and continue the race. And Again, no on-track racing incidents have faltered any problems for a yellow flag as we quickly are approaching now 60 laps to go when they come to the line next time by, working lap number 79 at the stripe.
And you see James Mining right now just trying to hold off Roy Grande, who had that 12 spot, currently sitting now 13th. Working him is Stephen Paulson, Robert Gandel, about 4 trucks currently under a blanket as they approach the 81 of Chase Carrillo, who is 1 lap down. And then you see the 56 machine, Chris White. Him and Devin West talked about him. He could be one of these drivers to show up here late in the going. Devin's made up 17 spots from the start so far. For last year's runner-up, he's going to have something to say, man. If I had to say, I'm going to say it right now. Even though we have a long, long ways to go, and for all I know, I could jinx the 5 machine, but I think the 5 Devin West goes to victory lane tonight. I'm just going to say it. I think he's so fast. He had the finish here 1 year ago. All he needs to do is finish 1 spot better.
Well, right now, he's in the 5th position. Just methodically trying to find a way to work off and pick off traffic. There's the 88 of Chris Kynes now. The 5 machine getting around the 88, going after the 56 of White. That's the man that is in the 4th position as they work back to the line out of turn 4. Under 60 laps to go here in the Honky Tonk 140. Since the drop of the green, it has been full speed ahead virtually here tonight. Round 11 for the Northwest Racing Series, the Northwest Truck Series as well for season number 11. Again, Toby Ritter started this race on the pole, quickly led, and then things fell back from there for him. He has now climbed his way back into the top 10 and 8th. Happy birthday to him. By the way, hope you and all of yours had a great Father's Day with your family yesterday. And working single file, another lap on the board. White is quickly being under attack, Jason, by Devin West. Your pick to win this race now.
Yeah, I personally believe Devin is just so fast. I think given the right opportunity, and when this next flag of green flag pit stops does happen, that's if it happens, if we don't see a caution, I think the best case scenario for this 5 machine is he does the undercut, and I think Devin's a good enough driver to know that he has speed, and if he could just hang on, until this next stop and pick up this spot, maybe even another, but I doubt it because Stephen O'Hare is so much further up the road than Chris White himself. If Devin could just do the undercut maybe like Dennis Moore did, I think it could pay off for the driver of the 5 machine. He's just going to have to be in the right place at the right time, though. But again, hard to pass here. You could just see him struggling to get around this 56.
Pit stops the last time happened in sequence between lap 44 to 61. The first man that pitted, obviously, was Dennis Moore, who went for that on lap 44, 47. And then the longest before they pitted was Brett Johnson and Sean Breitzman, who both pitted on lap number 61. So, with that being said, Jason, I really think all of these drivers are going to have to make the pit stop in green flag conditions. If we don't get a caution, they're going to have to pit before they finish this race, no doubt.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, no doubt about it. If these guys obviously went 57 or 47 to about, 55, 60 laps per se, you're looking at around lap 120, to even 110. These guys are going to have to pit probably. So we're going to have to wait and find out and see. Obviously, then it becomes, a 20, 30 lap stretch to the end of this race, and that's not a lot of time. So these guys got to get in gear, figure out how their trucks are handling, what they got to do, and obviously figure out the right strategy for what's going to put them in the catbird seat.
Don't forget, next week, the Northwest Racing Series trucks will roll on next Monday night to Kevin Harvick's Kern County Raceway. Jason was hinting on that earlier. The Happy's 175 on short track racing action. Going to be a fun one next Monday night. iRacing on LSRTV and CRN from the virtual Kern County Raceway in Florida, in California. Looking forward to that one, Jason. That's going to be something unique. The series has never ran there before. I don't think I've ever even done an iRacing broadcast from there before, but I've heard that it's really fun.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a bull ring.
Yeah, it is. It's a short little track, obviously. Kern's very, very, really unique, like most short tracks, obviously. I've never called a race there because, obviously, they just got on the iRacing service not even a few months ago, so it's still fresh in everybody's mind. Not everybody knows how to handle those types of racetracks. I mean, the only ones that you could really see having success there are people who would probably watch races on Kern from any broadcast partners that broadcast races there. So it's going to be really fun. It's new. It's exciting. I'm looking forward to it for sure.
As we approach lap number 90 next time around, the Columbia where number 81 of Chase Carrillo, his Chevrolet, is the first driver to step up and do the money stopping green flag pit stops with 50 to go this time by.
Yeah, Chase Carrillo, obviously, a few laps down. He's going to come to the pits. I believe he's probably either servicing damage or may have gotten a penalty because that 81 truck's still down on pit road right now. So probably that's what happened to him. Green flag pit stops will be approaching here pretty shortly. Before you know it, you see Jeff Stab now. That 24 truck has been so loose all night long from 1 and 2 all the way to 3 and 4. Just shy of the top 10 right now. Just got past the 333 of Vining. Robert Gamble right behind them, along with Stephen Paulus, everybody just really, really strung out. And Tyler King has about a 2-second gap over Ryan Gormley for the time being.
And you could see just a moment ago where the back end of that truck wanted to get loose. Look at him again, fighting the exit off the corner, tied in loose off, if you will. On the rear end of the 24, the silver and red entry of Jeff Stabnow. Under 50 laps to go now. Stabnow holding on in that Ford in the 11th position. Tyler King still leads.
Yeah, what a job for Tyler King so far here tonight in that 21 machine. And it's funny because Tyler King, I'm looking at the points right now. I'm trying to find his name. He's in 11th right now. No wins up on the scoreboard or up on the board this season. He's only been able to finish 9 out of the 10 races we've run so far. 4 top 5, 6 top 10. So it's been a steady season, I'd say, for the driver of the 21 machine, but it would be really cool to see, obviously, Tyler King won that championship a couple years back. It'd be awesome to see one of the former reigning champions of the series get back to victory lane.
Chris White holding off Barnes, getting through some lap traffic with Miles in 19th, and here comes Vining on pit lane. Lap 93, green flag pit stops roll on, but now lead lap drivers.
Yeah, the 33 is going to be coming to pit road. Here comes Brett Grenewald to pit road as well in the 51 machine. I'm assuming that some of these guys are going to start pitting here pretty shortly. Many of those guys being drivers who pitted around the lap 47 to probably 52 range. Here comes Dennis Moore. He's going to do the undercut again. Jeff Stabnow from 11th. He's going to pit as well this time by. So now the doors are starting to open up for these drivers to come down to the pit lane.
And for many of them, this could be the money stop as well. Of course, King last time pitted on lap 55. Gormley, lap 56. O'Hare, lap 54. And remember, we talked about green flag pit stops, and we're going to see them cycle back around again. You're going to see them shuffle from, of course, from the back of the tech to the front, because everybody is going to get at least maybe a lap down. But if they can flawlessly get back on the racetrack, then you know everyone else is going to have to pit, Jason. And when they do, that'll cycle back around to try to put everybody back up from the top of the scoring pylon, from the bottom back to the top, like the way it was before green flag pit stops began.
Yeah, for sure. And you're seeing Brian Barnes right now in this 4 machine, just trying to pace it around. He's one of those guys who's been doing very good this season as well. We talked about him obviously being up in that top 5 in points, sitting in 4th right now. He's only got 4 top 10s and 2 top 5s to his name this season, no wins. In fact, he is the only driver. Oh, is one driver really sideways? Believe that's the 51 machine there, getting really sideways out of 4, able to get out of harm's way. But back to Brian Barnes, you know, he's the only one in this top 5 in points that doesn't have a win. In fact, 3 of the guys in the top 10 in points don't have a win. That's Troy Daggett, Dennis Moore, and Brian Barnes. And the thing is, Wesley, you look at Dennis Moore with how fast he's been this year. Oh, Ryan Gormley, big moment coming to pit road. Nearly did the same thing Toby Ritters did. A handful of laps to go. Good job by Gormley to save that. But, you know, Dennis Moore, again, think about him as, oh my goodness, I can't even get my sentence out. Everybody's just seemingly going off the track right now. There's the 99 of Troy Daggett.
Yeah. Daggett in the grass in truck 99 as we're coming up on lap 99. All right, reset. Let's try this again. You were saying, Jason.
So Dennis Moore, I'm waiting for the caution to come out now because I just have that curse for some reason on iRacing. I don't know how I do it, but as you see the 5, the 56 coming to pit road, they're sideways again. Come on, boys, hang on to it. Just give me a minute of your time, please. But Dennis Moore, you think about the speed he's had this season, Wesley. You think back to Atlanta. He wrecked about 3/4 of the way through that race after being so fast all day long. And then Texas, him and Sean Brightsman got together. Dennis Moore could easily have 2 to 3 wins this season, but he just can't close it out, man. And I mean, tonight he just doesn't look like he has the speed either. I'm really surprised we haven't seen Dennis Moore in victory lane yet this season, because last year he was really strong.
Yeah, he really was in the regular season. Definitely had a very, very strong run as we're starting to see more of these drivers coming down to the pit lane. You see now only 10 drivers on the lead lap, from King to Grande. Now Gamble, now Paulison. They drop onto the pit lane. 8 drivers left to pit now. King, O'Hare, Barnes, Newton, Ritters, Bloom are all that's left that need to pit. Rogers overshot his pit stall. Johnson on pit road. Grande on pit road. Barnes and Ritters pull in. Money stop, pit stop on lap number 101 of 140 here at Nashville.
I was just about to say, if I'm Stephen O'Hare, I'm coming in this time by, and he's gonna, because he was about 4.5 seconds back before he came to pit lane. If Tyler King stays out just a little bit longer, Stephen O'Hare can close that gap immensely and maybe even take this lead away here if King elects to stay out. But we'll have to keep an eye on Tyler King, because he might come this time by. We'll have to see. And he is.
King is in. Tyler King gives up the lead. He's on pit road now. Paul Newton will now move to the leader. He's in second. Ryan Bloom will shuffle up to the number 1 spot when King is passed by the 25 from pit road, and he is. Newton is in. So Gormley is now going to move back up to second. And you know, Jason, I'm thinking of what obviously Sean Brightsman and Brett Johnson tried to do the last time strategy-wise. It ain't working this time for the 46.
Yeah, I don't know if it's obviously going to work out, you know, but this has just been a very interesting race. I'm really surprised that we've gone caution-free so far for these first 105 laps. I mean, still a little bit of ways to go, but the window for opportunity is going to close very, very quickly here for some of these guys. A caution would definitely flip this race completely upside down, because, Wesley, right now, we only have 8 trucks on the lead lap. We had about 13 when the pit stop cycle was going through, but this time we have 8 trucks on the lead lap. This is just absolutely insane here. It's been a very interesting race, and we're going to have to see how this unfolds. Tyler King, he's got about a 2-second gap over Stephen O'Hare for the time being, so it looks like King will be the leader when this cycles out. Ryan Bloom and Ryan Gormley, though, they still got to pit.
Still awaiting Bloom and Gormley to come. Well, Ryan Gormley pitted, Jason. Ryan Gormley pitted on lap 98. So we're still waiting for Ryan Bloom to come down pit road. And when he does, then winner last week from one Ryan to another Ryan, Ryan Gormley will move to the number 1 spot. As you see, Dan West Jr. trying to get around some more lap traffic. That's Todd Miles on the bottom. Ritters is after the 55. Look at how fast Ritter's truck is. He's a lap down, though, but he is so quick for the birthday boy. And the pole driver trying to get back on the lead lap. Only 8 drivers from Bloom to Barnes on the lead lap at lap 107 of 140 at Nashville.
Yeah, this has been, again, just a very interesting race. I'm actually very surprised that Ryan Gormley is going to have this lead. He's only off the pace from Tyler King by about 2/10. That's not bad at all. But when you look at the pit lap comparison for them, Gormley pitted on 98, King just pitted on lap 103. So that's not a whole lot. If this race goes green all the way to the end. Oh, and I think he spun coming to pit road right there. He was really slow. That hurt him a ton.
Well, the little ticker said that he went off track or spun off track, so we'll see. And now Ryan Gormley is the new leader, winner last week at Iowa, has now moved to the number 1 spot. Tyler King in the interval back to the leader of Gormley is 3 seconds. 4.5 seconds is O'Hare. 9 seconds is West and White, the top 5.
I think there's 2 things right here, Wes, that could save Ryan Gormley, because like I was mentioning before Bloom came to the pit road, was that the laps aren't really that far off, but now Ryan Gormley is about 4/10 slower than Tyler King. Tire wear is already starting to become a factor, because remember those first 20 laps, we fell off nearly a whole second and a half. And then these first 10 to 12 laps, we've already seen a little bit of fall off. But not much. So I think the best case scenario for Ryan Gormley is just save. And then when the 21 gets to you, race him a little bit. Or, obviously, he wants to try to bank on a caution, which could make this race very, very interesting. And you can only imagine that most of these guys are going to come to pit road because they probably know how valuable tires are.
30 laps to go here at the Nashville Superspeedway. Under 30 to go, actually. 29 when they come to the line. Gormley up in front. King is 2.5 seconds back, but he is trying to run down the 22. Your pick, Devin West, is 8 seconds back to the leader in 4th.
Yeah, Devin's had a really good race. I mean, listen, regardless if he doesn't get this win or not, a top 5 for him is going to be really, really good for him, not only in the points, but also good motivation.
Because he's got to win.
Yeah, he's got to win, so he's sitting pretty. But, you know, obviously finishing top 5, not where he wants to be. He wants to be in victory lane by the end of this thing. But considering where he started, 18 spots back from 4th, that's a pretty good night. I mean, we're used to seeing Devin West run up front. We're used to seeing him qualify up in the front. It's not every day that you see this 5 machine qualify in the back and obviously make his way up to the front. It is very hard, especially at a track like Nashville, to make passes like that. For this 5 to get in the top 5 here this late in the race, put a whole race together so far, is very good for the 5.
Remember, we're at Kern County Raceway next Monday night. We take off in observance of 4th of July on July 1st. We come back to Pocono, Darlington, New Hampshire, July 8th, 15th, and 22nd. We have another week off, then we come back for that final stretch of the final 3 races before the playoffs. That's Indianapolis, Chicagoland, and the wild card, Talladega, to determine who is going to lock themselves in to the round of 18 when those drivers, the round of 16. To the round of 16 when those drivers battle for the championship. And you know, Jason, we kind of hinted on this when we started the season. It's kind of a new format for the championship playoffs this year. More drivers being added, less rounds to determine the playoffs. A new format for sure.
Yeah, and it's going to make it really, really interesting, obviously, for these guys. I'm sure that the playoffs are going to ramp up big time. They do for us every year up here in the booth.
on LSRTV, not only for the drivers, but for us and also the fans. It's going to be really exciting to see these 16 drivers, whoever they may be, when the grid is set for the playoffs to be shown. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see what the schedule is going to look like for the playoffs, obviously. It's going to be a fun time, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's going to be really, really cool. Of course, as we aforementioned, when the playoffs do begin, it'll be the round of 16, the round of 12, then the round of 8. The finale will be decided right before Thanksgiving on Monday, November 18th at Homestead for the Championship 4. So I really like it here. So we'll see how it all shuffles out as we're closing in on under 25 laps to go. James Vining, there you see the Catman. What a run for him tonight, Jason. I know it's not a up front battling for the win, but a solid top 15 finish right now he's looking at for the Catman in the 333. What a bounce back, if you will.
Yeah, and I mean, absolutely for James Vining, no doubt about it. I mean, because, let's not sugarcoat things. It has been a really poorly put together season for this 333 machine. It has not been good. He has no top 10s, no top 5s to show for it, only 7 races. 8th one for him here tonight. So for him to be inside the top 15, that's got to feel good, because a lot of the times we've seen James just completely DNF, and it's been a heartbreaker because he's had some really good qualifying runs. And he had a good qualifying run tonight in the top 10. I mean, I know he's not in the top 10 right now, but a top 15 is like a win, I'd say, for this 333 machine. And you know who could really have a win right now within these next few laps is Tyler King, because he is closing that gap on Ryan Gormley. 0.4 of a second is the gap, and also 0.4 faster than Gormley last time around for Tyler King. So the lead is shrinking pretty quickly.
There's Gormley trying to double down, if you will, in the Northwest Racing Series trucks tonight. He won last week in Iowa. He's leading the way, but he has some big pressure behind him as Tyler King, former champion, running him down on the back door of the 22. Looking for the leadoff for Jason as they come to 20 to go at the line.
Yeah, he got really tight right there. Easily gives it up to that 21 of Tyler King, who can now set his sights on the checkered flag. Unless a yellow comes out, he's going to have a lot of traffic to deal with here. This race isn't over for Ryan Gormley by any stretch of the imagination. Anything can happen here. I mean, if this 21 machine just burns up his tires, maybe the 22 can catch him. But it's going to be really hard, as, like you mentioned, Sean Brightsman now coming to pit road. He tried to pull it all the way to the end and hope for a caution, but it just didn't happen.
Yeah, I think he was really in a sequence that was really on a strategy of hoping that there would be a caution, and it just didn't fall his way. And he had no choice but to pull in before he ran the tanks dry, no doubt. 19 to go now here at Nashville of the Honky Tonk 140. King now the leader in the 21. Passing James Vining now to put him a lap down for 13th. 12 trucks on the lead lap. However, Paulison is up in front of him as they go into one. More lap traffic in his sights also for the leader, King.
Yeah, I mean, he's just got to be really easy getting through it here. Once he gets past Paulison, it's going to be a long ways up the road to the next lap car. So, you know, that would be Jeff Stapp now. So he's going to have clean air here. He's just got to be cool, calm, and collected, and he'll be able to bring this one home, I think.
The Nicole Bryan photography number 21 works his way through the trioval, flashes under the start-finish line. 17 laps to go now as they work their way back into turn number 1 and 2. Putting a lap down now, Paulison in the dirty dozen spot. 12th and 13th Vining going a lap down. Stab now in 11th will be the next one he runs down. As you aforementioned, clean air for King just right now. Gormley is 1 second back. O'Hare 2 seconds back. West 7 seconds back to the leader off turn 4.
Yeah, this has just been such a great night, obviously, for Tyler King to come out here and put on the race that he has. I didn't, honestly, I'll be frank with you, Wesley, I did not have Tyler King listed on my drivers to look out for tonight. In fact, I had Ryan Gormley, who I know is who's running second right now. I had Dennis Moore, Dan West Jr., Devin West, and Brett Johnson all on my radar. I did not see this 21 being able to pull through here tonight, but he definitely doubted me wrong. And he's just had a great run. He finished 6th here last year, didn't lead any laps, but had a solid finish, and he's looking to try to make that 5 spots better here tonight if he could just hang on for 15 laps.
There's O'Hare. Harris, by the way. Whoa. Patience, 77. The legend right there. Back in 23rd. Battling lead lap traffic, if you will. As Gormley and O'Hare being botched by lap machines there with Harris and company back into turn 1, 14 at the line.
And you see O'Hare right now just trying to get around Gormley. Would like to get a second place run for the driver of the 41. But for Ryan Gormley, this is the kind of night he needs. It may not be a win, but finishing up in the top 3 is going to be pretty well, because Toby Ritters is back in 9th, and obviously Sean Brightsman is well off right now in that 46 machine. 2 laps down in 22nd. It was not Sean Brightsman's night here tonight by any means. So for Ryan Gormley to be out here running top 3, he's going to gain a lot of points if he could just hang on here for the next 13 laps. This is going to jump him up a lot in points.
And of course, Gormley coming off of that win at Iowa last week. King looking for his first win of the season, Jason, as you kind of mentioned earlier. Tyler King, 11th in the points coming into tonight's event. No wins for the former 2022 champion for Beaver State Racing. Could tonight be the night for him? Gormley and O'Hare battle for second spot now into turn 3 as they come to 11 to go at the line. Lap traffic as a pick on the outside.
Oh! That was tight coming off turn 4. I thought Gormley was going to get into the right rear of O'Hare there on the final corner, but great job for him to obviously be able to get past Gormley. Gormley now slots back into 3rd, and with these guys now getting single filed out, 10 laps to go this time by at the line. This race is Tyler King's to lose. I'd probably say you got Devin West there in 4th, 8 seconds back. And Chris White, great run for him tonight in 5th. He's currently 10 seconds back, so 10 laps to go this time by. Anything can happen, obviously.
Ten remaining. Very quickly, we'll pause for 10 seconds of network identification on CRN. The finish on deck from Nashville next.
Community Radio Network, WCRN 87.9 FM, Clayton, Garner, Raleigh, North Carolina, USA. We are CRN.
Under 10 laps to go, and the flag to flag, green flag so far, honky tonk 140, round 11 of the Northwest Truck Series of season 11 on the NASCAR, of course, I'm sorry, on the LSRTV and CRN network. Welcome to our coverage. I'm Wesley Outland. Jason Rockefeller is alongside. Charles Wooten, if he doesn't fire me, is working on the production of the broadcast. Oh boy, a flag to flag race. Jason, my mind is rattling here, man. I'm kind of running out of things to say. What a flag to flag performance by the drivers of the Northwest. I am very impressed. It just really got strung out there after halfway, and I don't think it ever recovered from it.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a struggle for a lot of drivers here tonight, I would say. I mean, right now, we only have 10 trucks on the lead lap right now.
Yeah.
And I'm just amazed that this race has really gone green. And again, I mentioned it before, that this race could possibly
get really strung out long green flag
Yeah, you
runs.
did.
I expected a long green flag run, but I did not expect this race to go caution-free. Obviously, 6 laps to go. I have a tendency to be the commentator that curses races here on iRacing whenever I broadcast. So we'll have to see. Tyler King, just 6 more circuits around this racetrack, and he's going to be a first-time winner this season. Got a 3-second gap over O'Hare. He's just got to come home.
I am looking at the track map also in front of me on my monitors, and there are literally race trucks in some shape or form littered all around the 1.5 mile here as they're coming to the line, and the open hand from your flagman, Barney, is going to show 5 to go to the leader, Tyler King. It's his race to lose.
Yep, his race to lose for sure. I mean, this 21 machine has just been lights out so far here tonight. Once he took the lead away from Toby Ritters, it was just game over, I think, for a majority of this field. It was just Tyler King, Tyler King, Tyler King. That's really all we've talked about. Nobody else has really gained the lead unless it was because of green flag pit stops. And it's just been a shocker to me, again, that we just haven't had any cautions, and it's just long strung out. We got some, solid racing here tonight for sure. Just a really tricky place to pass, and you've got to be careful here. And I think these guys have really stepped up and taken note of that. 3 cautions 1 year ago isn't that bad, but no cautions here tonight? Oh my goodness, man. Heads up, great round of applause driving out of these Northwest drivers, because I know that sometimes things can get out of hand for these drivers, and we can see a lot of cautions. Obviously, we have in here tonight. Dan West Jr. is in the pits.
Under 4 laps to go. And something to think about, by the way, is I was also looking at, I'm a stat guy, Jason. Tyler King, as I mentioned, 2022 Northwest Truck Series champion. Guess who was his adversary? Runner-up. His teammate. Right there. Stephen O'Hare. Right now, Tyler King, Stephen O'Hare, 1 and 2 on the racetrack. 3 to go. Tyler King hitting his marks perfectly. Looking to get his first win of the season. He will join drivers Sean Breitzman, Toby Ritters, Ryan Gormley, Jeff Stabnow, Dan West Jr., Ryan Bloom, and Devin West with wins of the year. 2 to go at the line. And for Tyler King, it's his 192nd career start. And Jason, listen to this as he's getting ready to come to the CRN 1 to go final time around. It will be his 4th career win in Northwest competition only. 57 top 5s, 109 top 10s. And Tyler King is working his way off the corner, coming to the line, through lap traffic. Checkered flag will wave, and Tyler King wins the Honky Tonk 140, flag to flag, caution-free, Jason Rockefeller, tonight at the Nashville Superspeedway. No yellow flags on the concrete. Unbelievable.
Yeah, definitely crazy. Did not expect this way that the race played out to be. But for Tyler King, man, this is the start of what could be, a good season for him. He's got that win now. I believe that will lock him into the playoffs, obviously, but we'll have to find out and see. But for Tyler King, man, he won this championship 2 years ago. He knows how to win these things. This 21 machine might be back.
Beaver State Racing. And here comes Stephen O'Hare to join the party. Let the celebration begin as the Northwest High Five salute is on deck. Ryan Gormley, Iowa winner, will finish 3rd. And let the damage and destruction chaos happen. I just think, Jason, we need to have an event that's not really a race. Maybe you race around the track, but we have a Crash Fest, Rock'em Sock'em virtual robot segment. And just
I tell you what.
Whoever survives, survives. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah, what you got?
I tell you what, I'm going to be like Tony Stewart, just like he did at the end of Talladega one year. I'd say we have half the field go backwards for one way. Oh, there, look at Gormley. Oh my gosh, he's like a spinning top. Holy cow. I think we have half the field go backwards for half the race, and the other half goes the right way. And they collide, they collide. It is what it is. Last one standing wins.
I love it. Last person wrecking, crashing. Oh, Sean Brightsman giving a big monster hit there at Paulison and Tyler Kim. And the winner is still standing. He was. Now
anymore.
he's in the middle of that sandwich there, if you will. Well, I was trying to choose my words carefully, Jason.
Oh my God.
Oh, choosing my words carefully. This is a PG-13 show or rated R show. All right. Yeah, it is marked not safe for kids. Okay, well, I'm still not going to say it. All right, let Tyler King burning it down as well as everyone else. And only fitting that King and O'Hare stay right with one another on the track as well as during the high five salute as they tear up everything. There's your caution flag. Anybody that wanted destruction, you got it after the race had ended. All right, let's give you the rundown of the night's race. It's Tyler King, the winner. Stephen O'Hara finished second. Ryan Gormley third. Devin West fourth. Christopher White, your top five. Brian Barnes is sixth. Paul Newton seventh. Ryan Bloom eighth. Toby Ritters, happy birthday to Clifford. He'll finish in ninth, the pole driver. Dennis Moore will finish in 10th. And only 10 drivers, Jason, on the lead lap when the checker flag fell.
Yeah, no surprise, but obviously very shocking to see only 10 drivers on the lead lap. There you go in 11th, Jeff Stabnow, Paulison, Brett Johnson, James Vining, Roy Grande, top 15. Then you have Brett Grindelwald, Chris Kynes, Todd Miles, Troy Daggett, Tyler Kim, rounding out your top 20.
Rest of the rundown, multiple laps down or out of it, including drivers of Sean Brightsman, Dan West Jr., Frank Harris, John Ottenbacher, Dana Rogers, Kevin Smith, Robert Gamble, Chase Carrillo, Carl Burke, Bryce Clark, and Ron Hunter did not start the race. Hey, we didn't have any cautions, but we do want to thank my buddy Brian Morehouse at NASCAR and Virginia811.com reminding you to dig with care. Here is the race summary of that event when it's all said and done. And there it is. Yeah, look at that. No cautions, no caution laps, 9 lead changes. And Jason, I would be hard pressed to say that a lot of them transpired, except maybe 2 or 3 by green flag pit stops that were cycling under, the race conditions.
Yeah, definitely. Again, like I had mentioned, only Tyler King was the only one really to take the lead away and kind of set sail without pit stops. He got around the 3 machine and just kind of set sail since then.
Coming up next will be post-race. We're going to grab the top 3 from the Nashville Super Speedway. It was a honky-tonk, caution-free kind of night. They do-si-doed and took it from green to checker. When it's all said and done, Tyler King puts himself back in the hunt for possibly a championship. He wins tonight at Nashville. We'll grab the podium next. Caution-free, flag-to-flag race tonight in round 11 of the Honky Tonk 140, and we go to Victory Lane. Tyler King, welcome back to Victory Lane. Won a championship in 2022. I won't say it's been a bad couple of years, but it's been consistently just quiet races But what a way to put yourself back in the championship hunt for this year, man. Congratulations to you.
Yeah, thanks, Wesley. We had pretty good run up to here, ups and downs, but yeah, it's nice to put a stamp on this one and go out and actually dominate or win and not have to worry about other circumstances. It feels good to go out there and really earn one in the Northwest Racing Series.
Man, what was it, this strategy, this race? Were you expecting green flag runs from the start to finish of this race, or was you kind of picking the strategy as things went on from the first progression of 40 laps to green flag pit stops and then cycling and then realizing, hey, this thing's going to go caution free? Obviously, I know that had to be important when you made those these pit stops, especially the money stop of the race around lap 90 when you did.
Yeah, I know the first 2 years of this race, they were super clean. Dennis, when he was with Beaver State Racing, dominated these things, basically lapped everybody. I can't remember really what happened last year, but I expected long green runs. I was hoping for long green runs. I knew our setup was really nicely balanced for that, and gosh dang, it was way, way better than I was expecting to. I was like, I knew we had a good chance of, turning some heads with the new build and the new truck, but I never expected to come out here and do what we did tonight. We all had fantastic races. Steph and I got another 1-2 finish for Beaver State. Super awesome. I know Paul had a great night. I didn't see where he ended up, but just really proud of all of our efforts with this new build. I'm really excited to see where we can go from here. But yeah, just super happy for everybody on our team. Super happy to get it done tonight.
Did you realize, and segue this into thanking your sponsors, did you realize that this is only your 4th career win in Northwest?
Yeah, buddy, I keep track. I got Beaver stickers for my wheel for everyone I pick up in this league because they're really hard to earn. But yeah, I definitely got to thank everybody at Beaver State Racing, Stefan, Paul, for everything they do for us. Just coming out, playing, having fun. We all have a really good time together. Nicole Bryan photography, got to check her out. Book some sessions if you guys need to. And thanks to LSRTV for the show they put on, and Sean and Jeff for all the hard work they do behind the scenes.
There you go. Again, as I aforementioned, a big win, his 4th career win, 2022 Series champion Tyler King and Beaver State Racing will finish again in the winning spot. The runner-up is also Stephen O'Hare. Stephen, you'll finish in 2nd, sir. Your take of being behind your teammate, and obviously if you can't win the thing, I guess it's pretty cool to have a 1-2 finish, sir. You're taking Nashville.
Yeah, I heard Tyler, our strategy was to haul ass and collect trophies. We did it. Congratulations to Tyler. Super proud. If I'm going to finish 2nd, that's, nobody else. I'd rather finish 2nd too. Tyler, Beaver State. I know Paul ran a good race too. I think, top 10 there. So just all around great night. Super excited.
Man, what was your take of this race? Were you surprised that there wasn't a lot of calamity or destruction? Everybody kind of on their P's and Q's this evening, for sure.
Yeah, like Tyler said, we did some research. We knew traditionally these races had some long green flag runs, so we were prepared for that. We had really great trucks, so it was just a matter of not giving it away. So I think we were pretty conservative getting on the pit road there. Didn't want to push it too far, didn't want to pit too early, and I think we just used the speed that we had, and it was a good night.
Yeah, really another good solid run for you, Stephen O'Hare. You'll climb a couple of spots in the points now, up to 22nd. By the way, the winner, Tyler King, jumped up 3 positions now into 8th. Now in the championship standings, the top 10 now only separated by 65 points. Oh, and the birthday boy, Toby Ritters, has overtaken Sean Breitzman to be the new points leader. All of this going on. Stefan, what do you do now to join Tyler to make a run for a championship in the 41?
Yeah, well, he's got his trophy, so next time I'll put the bumper to him, and we'll collect ours, and hopefully fill up that championship run.
All right, brother, before we let you go, thank your sponsors. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, I want to thank Nicole Bryan Photography, Nikki for supporting me, Beaver State Racing, like Tyler said, which is it's just a fun, great group of guys. We have a ton of fun coming out here and playing around on Monday nights. And certainly want to thank all you guys at LSRTV for airing these and giving us a platform. And then, all the guys that facilitate Northwest Racing Series. It's a lot of fun. So just really appreciative. So thank you all.
There you go, Stephen O'Hare again, second place when this race ends tonight at the Honky Tonk 140 at the virtual Nashville Super Speedway. Let's go down to the Iowa winner of last week. He also will finish on the podium for the second week and third. Ryan Gormley, the prodigy. Man, your take of this race, obviously third, and congratulations are due, obviously, winning at Iowa last week. I wish we could have broadcasted it.
Yeah, thank you. It was pretty fun with the new updates. It's a little different, but it's a lot the same.
Would you say, two-part question. How much fun are you having running the trucks, and would you say that you've really adapted as a driver from what you did in the Xfinity program from last year?
Yeah, I mean, definitely having a lot of fun. Trying not to be so stressed out about setups because I'm a one-man team. But last week was, obviously a ton of fun and leading the most laps and stuff like that. But being able to adapt, it's a little less horsepower, but a little more downforce. So it's all about momentum, getting through the corners and getting that straightaway speed.
Yeah, fun one for sure, man. Well, obviously, it's got to be exciting. You get the win last week at Iowa, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. I was a little confused. I wasn't sure I didn't know you guys weren't broadcasting, but that's all good. It was a blast.
All right, buddy. Before we let you go, please thank your sponsors.
Yeah, I'd like to thank you guys up in the booth, LSRTV, Stadmau, and Brightsman. Those guys put on a good show here so that we can all race and have fun. So appreciate everybody watching, my girlfriend and my parents. So thank you guys.
Well, Ryan Gormley will finish in the number 3 position when tonight's race concludes for the Honky Tonk 140. Next week, we are going to Kern County Raceway for the first time ever. We're looking forward to that one. Should be a fun race on the Bull Ring next Monday night. Hope you and yours can join us. Enjoy the rest of our coverage on LSR TV. As always, archives and replays will be up very soon, as well as on CRN major podcast platforms. For Rocket Racing Media, Jeff Stabnow, and of course, Charles Wooten. For Jason Rockefeller, this is Wesley Outland. Congratulations again to Tyler King, winning tonight at the Honky Tonk 140 on the concrete at the Nashville Super Speedway. Good evening.